Push yourself, because no one is coming to build your life for you. Read that again in your mind. No one is coming. No one is coming to wake you up with purpose. No one is coming to hand you discipline. No one is coming to drag you away from distraction. No one is coming to build the body you want, the mindset you want, the future you want, or the life you keep imagining in silence. That part is on you. And this is where most people lose years of their lives, not because they are stupid, not because they are incapable, not because they are cursed, but because they keep waiting for something that was never supposed to come. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect plan. They wait for the right mood. They wait for confidence. They wait for clarity. They wait for a sign. But your life does not change when the sign appears. Your life changes when you move. That is the truth. A lot of people know exactly what they need to do. They know they should wake up earlier. They know they should stop wasting hours on things that give them nothing back. They know they should work on their goals. They know they should fix their habits. They know they should take care of their health. They know they should stop delaying what matters. The issue is not awareness. The issue is execution. And execution is where lives separate. Because in the end, you are not rewarded for what you almost did. You are not transformed by what you plan to do. You are not respected by your potential. You are shaped by your actions, your repeated actions, your daily actions, your silent actions, the things you do when no one is watching, the things you do when no one is clapping, the things you do when your feelings are against you. That is where your future is built. Let me ask you something. How many times have you promised yourself that you would start? How many Mondays have come and gone? How many mornings did you say, "This is the day"? How many nights did you say, "Tomorrow I will be different"? How many chances have you already had? And how many of them slipped away because you were waiting to feel ready? Think about that carefully. You do not need another motivational quote. You do not need another video. You do not need another perfect strategy. At some point, what you need is movement, real movement. Because movement changes your state. Movement changes your belief. Movement changes your identity. The person who acts learns more than the person who only thinks. The person who starts grows faster than the person who studies starting. The person who moves imperfectly gets further than the person who waits perfectly. That is how life works. Not theory first and then growth. Action first, then growth. Action first, then clarity. Action first, then confidence. Most people want confidence before they begin. But confidence is not given before effort. Confidence is earned through effort. It is built by showing yourself again and again that you can move even when it is hard. And that is what pushing yourself really means. It does not mean being loud. It does not mean pretending to be fearless. It does not mean forcing fake positivity. It means doing what needs to be done, especially when you do not feel like doing it. That is power. Anyone can take action when they feel excited. Anyone can work when everything is going well. Anyone can stay committed when results are immediate. But what about the days when your energy is low? What about the mornings when your mind is full of doubt? What about the evenings when your excuses sound convincing? What about the moments when comfort feels stronger than purpose? Those are the moments that define you, not the easy moments, the hard ones. Because every time you choose action over excuse, you become stronger. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you become more dangerous to your old habits. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you become someone your future can depend on. And that is the person you need to become. A person your future can trust. Not a person who talks big and disappears. Not a person who starts and stops. Not a person who gets emotional for one day and distracted for the next 10. But a person who follows through. That is rare. And because it is rare, it is powerful. Understand this deeply. Your biggest enemy is not always fear. Sometimes it is softness. Sometimes it is comfort. Sometimes it is the habit of allowing yourself to wait. Sometimes it is the quiet lie that says, "I will do it later." Later is expensive. Later steals years. Later weakens urgency. Later makes dreams feel permanent in your mind and absent in your reality. Later is where many ambitions go to die. You say you want more from life, but do your actions agree? You say you want discipline, but what do you do when the alarm rings? You say you want success, but what do you do with your free time? You say you want change, but what happens when change becomes uncomfortable? These are not small questions. These questions reveal everything, because your real priorities are not found in your words. They are found in your routines. Your routine is a confession. It reveals what you truly value. It reveals what you truly avoid. It reveals whether you are serious or just interested. And there is a huge difference between being interested and being committed. When you are interested, you do it when it is convenient. When you are committed, you do it whether it is convenient or not. Interested people wait. Committed people move. Interested people talk about what they want. Committed people build what they want. Interested people let mood control action. Committed people let purpose control action. So ask yourself honestly, not emotionally, not defensively, honestly, are you interested in a better life, or are you committed to one? Because a committed person understands something that changes everything. Small daily action is never small. One disciplined morning is not just one morning. It is evidence. One workout is not just one workout. It is a vote. 1 hour of focused work is not just 1 hour. It is identity in motion. One moment where you say no to distraction and yes to effort may look invisible from the outside, but inside something is changing. You are teaching yourself who you are, and identity is built through repetition, not declarations, not fantasies, not captions. Repetition. What you repeat, you become. If you repeat avoidance, you become someone who avoids. If you repeat delay, you become someone who delays. If you repeat excuses, you become someone who trusts excuses. But if you repeat action, you become a person of action. And once that identity is built, everything starts changing. Because then discipline is no longer something you try once in a while. It becomes your standard. Now listen carefully. You do not need to change your entire life in one day. That is another trap. People overwhelm themselves with massive expectations. They try to become perfect overnight. They create impossible routines. They demand instant transformation. Then when they cannot maintain it, they collapse back into old habits and call it failure. That is not failure. That is impatience. Real transformation is slower than your emotions want, but stronger than your emotions understand. It happens in repetition. It happens in quiet. It happens in ordinary moments. The extra 30 minutes of focus. The decision to keep going when no one would blame you for stopping. The page you read. The call you make. The task you finish. The promise you keep. The distraction you resist. The morning you honor. The standard you refuse to lower. That is where your life starts changing. Not in one giant breakthrough, in many small moments of honesty. Because every day asks you the same question in a different form. Will you act or will you avoid? Will you move or will you delay? Will you build or will you dream about building? That question comes every day, and your answer becomes your life. You need to understand the mathematics of self-respect. Every time you tell yourself you will do something and then you do not do it, you weaken trust in yourself. You train your mind not to believe your own words. You create internal doubt. You make promises feel cheap. But every time you follow through, even in a small way, you rebuild that trust. You tell yourself, my word means something. You prove that your intentions are not empty. You show your mind that you can be counted on. That is how self-respect grows. Not from talking about discipline, from living it. And once self-respect grows, action becomes easier. Not because the work got easier, but because you no longer want to betray yourself. That is a powerful shift. Many people are waiting to feel motivated before they begin. But motivation is unstable. It comes and goes. It rises and falls. It is affected by sleep, mood, weather, disappointment, stress, comparison, and 100 other things. If your future depends on motivation, your future is fragile. You need something stronger. You need standards. Standards keep you moving when emotions disappear. Standards keep you focused when distractions multiply. Standards keep you honest when excuses become intelligent. And make no mistake, excuses can sound intelligent. I am tired. I need more time. I will start after this week. I need to plan a little more. I am not in the right headspace. I will do better tomorrow. Maybe some of those things feel valid, but ask yourself, how many times have those same thoughts stolen momentum from your life? At some point, you have to stop negotiating with the part of you that wants the reward without the work. That part of you is not evil. It is weak. It wants comfort. It wants ease. It wants immediate pleasure. It wants to escape pressure. But if you let that side lead your life, your future will become smaller than your potential. You cannot let comfort make your decisions. Comfort has destroyed more dreams than difficulty ever did. Difficulty can build you. Comfort can bury you. That is why pushing yourself every single day matters. Not because every day will be dramatic. Not because every day will feel productive. Not because every day will look impressive. But because every day is a chance to remain aligned with the person you say you want to become. And alignment matters more than intensity. You do not need maximum effort every day. You need honest effort every day. That means some days you will move fast. Some days you will move slow. But you will move. That is the standard. Move. Even if the step is small, move. Even if your mind is noisy, move. Even if you are uncertain, move. Even if no one understands your vision, move. Even if progress feels invisible, move. Because the worst thing you can do is stop. When you stop, doubt gets louder. When you stop, procrastination gets stronger. When you stop, excuses get more believable. When you stop, starting again becomes heavier. But when you keep moving, even a little, momentum stays alive. And momentum is precious. Momentum carries you through resistance. Momentum reduces friction. Momentum turns effort into rhythm. Momentum helps discipline feel natural. That is why the first step matters so much. The first step is not powerful because it is big. It is powerful because it breaks the spell of hesitation, the spell of overthinking, the spell of waiting, the spell of imagining a better life while staying loyal to the habits that prevent it. Break the spell. Start. If you need to write, write one page. If you need to train, start with one set. If you need to build, begin with one task. If you need to learn, study one concept. If you need to heal, make one healthy choice. If you need to change your life, win one decision. Do not underestimate what one decision can begin. Most people think their life changes in huge emotional moments. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes your life changes in a quiet moment, when you get tired of your own excuses. Sometimes your life changes when you finally decide that enough is enough. Sometimes your life changes when you stop asking how you feel and start asking what must be done. That is maturity. That is growth. That is power. And here is something even deeper. Daily action is not only about results. It is about relationship. Your relationship with time. Your relationship with pain. Your relationship with effort. Your relationship with yourself. When you keep taking action, you stop seeing effort as punishment. You begin seeing it as self-respect. You stop seeing discipline as restriction. You begin seeing it as freedom. You stop seeing hard days as proof that you should quit. You begin seeing them as proof that the work is real. That changes everything. Because once effort becomes normal to you, you stop running from the process. And when you stop running from the process, results have a place to grow. People love results, but results belong to process. Everybody wants confidence, but confidence belongs to kept promises. Everybody wants success, but success belongs to consistency. Everybody wants a better future, but a better future belongs to the person who can do the necessary things repeatedly without constant applause. That person wins. Maybe not immediately, maybe not publicly, maybe not dramatically, but eventually, undeniably, that person wins. And you must decide whether you want quick comfort or lasting progress, because you cannot fully have both. Every meaningful life requires sacrifice. The body you want requires sacrifice. The mind you want requires sacrifice. The business you want requires sacrifice. The peace you want requires sacrifice. The respect you want requires sacrifice. Something must be given up. Sleepwalking, excuses, laziness, distraction, overindulgence, self-pity, endless delay. You have to give something up to become someone new. That is the price of growth. And the truth is, you are already paying a price either way. There is a price for discipline, but there is also a price for regret. There is a price for effort, but there is also a price for staying the same. There is a price for waking up early and doing the work, but there is also a price for looking back years from now and realizing you had the ability, the vision, the chance, and still did not move. Which price will you pay? That is the real question, because pain is guaranteed, but progress is a choice. Let that sink in. You are going to feel discomfort either way. You can feel the discomfort of discipline now or the discomfort of disappointment later. You can feel the pressure of effort now or the heaviness of regret later. You can struggle while building or struggle while wishing. Choose your struggle. Wise people do not avoid difficulty. They choose the difficulty that leads somewhere. And daily action leads somewhere. It may lead slowly. It may lead quietly. It may lead through invisible progress at first, but it leads. That matters. A lot of people quit because they do not see immediate evidence. They work for a week and expect transformation. They try for a month and expect certainty. They show up a few times and expect identity change. That is not how deep change works. Deep change happens below the surface before it appears above the surface, like roots before branches, like foundation before height, like repetition before mastery. So if you are in a season where it feels like nothing is happening, do not be so quick to assume that nothing is changing. Maybe your discipline is getting stronger. Maybe your focus is getting cleaner. Maybe your self-trust is returning. Maybe your standard is rising. Maybe your future is being built in ways that are not visible yet. Stay with it. Do not abandon the process just because the reward has not arrived yet. A seed does not become a tree because it was planted once. It becomes a tree because it stayed in the ground, endured pressure, received repetition, and kept growing. Your life is no different. You need rooted consistency, not emotional intensity for 3 days, not inspiration that disappears by the weekend, not promises that sound strong and end weak. Rooted consistency, the kind that shows up in ordinary mornings, the kind that survives boring days, the kind that keeps moving when the work is repetitive, the kind that continues when nobody notices, the kind that says, I do this because this is who I am becoming. That is the hidden shift. At first you push yourself to take action. Then if you keep going, action starts reshaping you. Eventually you no longer chase discipline from the outside. Discipline begins to live inside you. Now you are dangerous, because now you are not depending on emotion. You are not depending on praise. You are not depending on perfect circumstances. You have become reliable. And reliability is a superpower. A reliable person can build anything. A reliable person can transform. A reliable person can recover from setbacks. A reliable person can outlast people who are more talented but less disciplined. Never underestimate the force of someone who keeps going. Life changes for that person. Doors open for that person. Strength grows in that person. Clarity follows that person. Not because they got lucky, but because they became the kind of person results can trust. That is what you must become. Do not just chase goals. Build the character that can hold those goals. Do not just dream about success. Train the identity that can sustain success. Do not just want a better life. Become the person who behaves like that life is worth earning. Because what you become is always more important than what you temporarily get. If you get success without discipline, you can lose it. If you get opportunity without character, you can waste it. If you get progress without identity change, you can sabotage it. So focus deeper. Become stronger inside. Become more honest with yourself. Become more disciplined with your time. Become more serious with your habits. Become less available to distraction. Become less impressed by your own excuses. Become someone who acts. That one decision alone can start rewriting your life. And no, it will not always feel exciting. Some days will feel flat. Some days will feel repetitive. Some days will feel heavy. Some days will feel like you are doing a lot and seeing little. Keep going. Those are the days that separate the curious from the committed. Anyone can chase a feeling. Few can honor a standard. Be one of the few. Because the few build what the many only talk about. The few live what the many only admire. The few create what the many only consume. Why? Because they learned the secret. You do not rise by wishing. You rise by doing. You do not become powerful by thinking about discipline. You become powerful by practicing discipline. You do not build a meaningful future by hoping hard enough. You build it by acting long enough. That is it. Simple. Not easy, but simple. Take action. Then take action again. Then repeat it tomorrow. Then repeat it when you are tired. Then repeat it when you are doubted. Then repeat it when progress is invisible. Then repeat it until it stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like your nature. That is how people transform. Slowly, quietly, completely. So if your life has felt stuck, do not waste another year trying to think your way out of it without movement. If your dreams have felt distant, do not keep feeding them with emotion while starving them of effort. If your potential has been sitting unused, do not keep calling it potential while refusing to convert it into action. Enough waiting, enough delaying, enough standing at the edge of your own life, admiring the version of you that could exist if only you were willing to move. Move now, not because it is easy, not because you feel fully ready, not because fear is gone, not because conditions are perfect. Move because your future is too important to keep postponing. Move because your word should mean something. Move because discipline can still be built. Move because confidence is waiting on the other side of effort. Move because the life you want cannot be reached by thought alone. Move because every single day you hesitate, time keeps moving anyway. Move because your excuses have already taken enough from you. Move because deep down you know exactly what must be done. So do it. Start before you feel ready. Work before you feel inspired. Continue before you see results. Repeat before it feels natural. Push before it feels comfortable. Build before you feel certain. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look at your life and realize something powerful. The change did not begin when the world believed in you. The change did not begin when motivation finally stayed. The change did not begin when life got easier. The change began the moment you stopped waiting and started acting. That was the turning point. That was the shift. That was the day your future stopped being a fantasy and started becoming a direction. So push yourself every single day. Push yourself to wake up with intention. Push yourself to do the hard thing first. Push yourself to keep promises to yourself. Push yourself to choose what matters over what is easy. Push yourself to act even when your emotions are not cooperating. Push yourself to remain loyal to the life you say you want. Because your life will not be built in one dramatic moment. It will be built in daily decisions, daily effort, daily resistance, daily discipline, daily action. That is where your power is. That is where your growth is. That is where your future is. And if you really want to change your life, then remember this. You do not need more time. You need more truth. You do not need more ideas. You need more execution. You do not need another someday. You need today. Today is enough to begin. Today is enough to prove something to yourself. Today is enough to break a pattern. Today is enough to take one step. And one step, taken consistently, can take you somewhere your old self could never reach. So stop looking for the moment. Become the moment. Stop waiting for the version of you that does the work. Become that version. Stop hoping action will feel easier tomorrow. Choose action now. Push yourself. Take action every single day. And build a life your excuses can no longer control.